Ready.
Hello, everybody. It's Chantele Francis here from Realnesss, and we have a special edition, the quarantine edition. We're going to be taking a look at Big Brother Cheesecake Factory Season 4 Office Wars. So I have two co-hosts for this show. It's going to be one over here. We have Mr. Jojo.
Hello. Hey, hello.
And we have Jonathan.
Hey guys.
Hello. So maybe you guys can give a brief little synopsis as to why you want to cover this show with me.
I don't. We're stuck at home. I think this is actually the perfect time to play this kind of game in full isolation. So kudos to you, Andrew, for getting the season ready as fast as you did.
And Jonathan, why do you want to partake in our little show today?
Took up about 3 months of my life. So I'm excited to see other people kind of step into those shoes and, view it from the outside kind of a thing rather than play it myself, but also comment on it and see how it goes.
Yay!
Yay!
So what I decided to do today is we'll go through Andrew. It's the first day, so it actually did start today. He's released his first video, so day one's video. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but these two guys have taken lots of notes, so they're gonna inform me on what the first episode was all about. And then I thought we would do a little giraffe pick so we can make a little bit of some stakes going on with them as we watch the show or the episodes, see how people are doing the game, see if our teams are doing well, etc., etc. So does that sound good to you guys?
Sounds great.
Hey. Okay, so who wants to start off with Andrew's video?
Well, I can give the rundown of what I saw. Jojo, I'm sure, has way more notes than I do, but it's so the theme this year is Office, The Office Wars.
You guys watch The Office?
Yes, big fan of The Office.
I've only seen a few episodes of both versions.
Oh my God, Jonathan, get on it.
Me too. It's like
I have to understand, but
the thing is that, like, I'm such a reality television show junkie that, like, I just end up binge watching old seasons of reality TV because it's just like, a little bit mindless and, like, I don't have to think about it. And I never think, I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to watch Office Wars. It's kind of like I've never seen Sopranos. I've never seen Breaking Bad. And people are like, you haven't seen the? And I'm like, well, I'd rather watch, like, season 1 through 10 of Drag Race that I haven't watched yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've seen, like, 3 episodes of The Office. I've found it funny and I've liked it, but do we need to binge watch that too so we can get some of the jokes?
I don't. I think in the first video, I mean, really just kind of his demeanor is, and so if you watch an episode, you kind of get the sense of it. He said in the video itself, you don't need to have really seen it to truly understand any of it. And this year, unlike our season 3, this year they're back to like they did in the previous season, season 2, where they're in like houses, Hogwarts houses. They are divided up into like, what was it, Jojo? Like accounting, warehouse,
sales, accounting, customer service, and warehouse are the 4 teams that he's going to divide them into with the spinning wheel.
Sales, accounting,
customer service, and warehouse.
And like season 2, if you you are basically playing with them. So if you win HOH, your teammates are protected essentially. So it's something that can be a very interesting dynamic, which I think he mentioned in season 2. There was a house that did not like each other, and I know some houses fell apart and things like that. So we were lucky enough to be able to kind of like target who we wanted and who we didn't, that without having that in play. So it'll be interesting.
I think that will pick up the strategy level. So if you have people that you maybe know or you maybe chatted with already and you kind of were forming some bonds, it will them to either use that to their strength and know that like they might be protecting them, or they can protect other people a little bit. But yeah, I think it will up the strategy for sure, because like it won't be as straightforward. So that's good.
Yeah, I think
choose the groups yet or no?
He hasn't chosen them yet. I think he's choosing them tomorrow. But I think this is a good way to kind of mess with any preseason alliances, because I'm sure that's been happening. Once you find out, I'm sure. Especially like knowing who the cast is a couple of days before the game begins, people are going to start to message each other. I've seen a lot of mutual friends now. That's like just basic Facebook creeping, but we'll get into that later for our assessments, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's all I did was just
creep.
I mean, I could have gone a little bit deeper and gone into Instagram, but I was like, I'll just be.
You could have went a little deeper, couldn't you?
Well, we'll just start off really basic, and then maybe tomorrow or next week we'll pull in some Instagram info.
Yeah.
Okay, so he talked about then that there's going to be the 4 different houses: so sales, accounting, customer service, and warehouse. He hasn't, as what you said, put anybody into groups yet. What else did he say on the video?
So there's actually one of my favorite reality shows ever, The Mole. So doing a little twist on that this season as well. So there is a mole in the house whose goal is to, correct me if I'm wrong, Jojo, they want to be evicted in the first 5 weeks, I think he said. Yeah. And if they are, then if they're voted to be evicted, then neither person goes home. And the mole then gets to play in the game like a normal contestant. And if they are not evicted, that by the 5th week or 6th week or whatever, it's they then will be kicked out of the game. So it's one of those interesting kind of twists, and we'll see how that comes into play, because they are going to be sabotaging and causing chaos potentially. So
do you guys like this twist?
I love it. Yeah.
Why do you love it? Why do you love it?
I just think it adds another element to it that is not only do you have to deal with the different houses and the different things that come into play. Like we had to deal with a flipper in our season, which Andrew said that didn't have any effect on it, but it did. I mean, most
100%.
Most people don't know how we actually we forced people to use it, or made people think that they weren't using it, and vice versa to get them out. So it took a lot of effort on our behalf to really kind of keep that in check. And I think getting that the mole's in play is going to be your downfall, because you could potentially be letting someone in who's super dangerous. Sorry, that's my dog in the background.
Or, I mean, on the flip side, you can also find out who the mole is, work with the mole, have the mole evicted, come back as head of household, and be on your team.
Is the mole able to disclose that they're the mole to anybody?
That I don't know.
And if someone finds out that they're the mole, are they automatically evicted?
I'm not sure yet. That's some details that we.
I'll ask Mr. Andrew.
Yes, please do.
We'll get back to you guys on the official rules of the mole.
I would think that you couldn't say anything, is what I would think.
But who would know? There's so much stuff that happens behind the scenes. Yes, like when the house guests first enter like the group chat, you have the group chat, but then there's many other chats happening behind the scenes that Andrew's not privy to, that a lot of the other players obviously don't know about. So I feel like you could.
Like, well, I might be able to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. A lot of false.
Yeah. Actually, that'd
be the mole.
Like a fun strategy would be to act like the mole in this situation. Well, but would you want to? Because then they might just kick you out. Interesting.
Yes.
How would you play it if you were the mole?
Oh, I would just play it like myself. Get evicted. No, I don't know. I think I'd probably leak it to some people, to be honest, and be like, let's somehow make this happen, like this advantage happen.
Now with
at
the
4 or 5.
They actually usually work with the producers and find out a little more information, or like, because they're obviously going to do their quiz and stuff like that perfectly so they'd stay in the game. Do you think that they will have any additional help in the game, so that maybe they'll get some power so they can cause some chaos? Like, do you think that the mole will get any special treatment in that sense?
I don't, and Andrew's big on all of the twists being up front. So I think he would have mentioned that if they received something that no one else did, and he hasn't said anything. So I feel like they're kind of on their own, and they have to. Those are the rules, and we'll see how it comes about.
Yeah, I like twists that don't mess up the game. Is like, you know what I mean? Like you can work with this kind of twist. I don't like, the week is all repeated or something like that. Like you just like, we just got screwed for whatever reason. Like everything's exposed. Like I don't like twists like that personally. But this one is just kind of like, it's a new element. Obviously I like to strategize and like to think about things. So I will be thinking about a million different ways that who could be the mole, if they were the mole, who they'd be talking to. It just would make me, as someone that likes to strategize, have a lot more mental stimulation. So I think I like that kind of twist more than other twists. So
sure,
I'm supporting this twist. You heard me. I'm supporting a twist.
There was also another twist called Prank or No Prank. Kind of similar to like diving to the bottom of the sea, random temptations, 12 Jello cups filled with something. And I'm also wondering if those Jello cups are going to rot. Does Jello rot or mold in a couple of weeks? Like
they looked frozen, so I'm like,
so you're gonna put them back in the freezer?
I don't think Jello doesn't go bad. It's like gelatin and sugar.
I don't know.
It wouldn't go bad. It might just get like more gelatinous and like gummy, I think, like around the edges. But I don't think it would go.
I just pictured like molding Jello and Andrew. No? Okay.
I don't think it has any, unless there's something that gets in it. If they put fruit bits in it, maybe that would go moldy, but I don't think.
Sangria Jello. The Pooh Brown Vito is
he doing them? Is he gonna get wasted?
That'd be amazing. It's a little suck in our back. They're not Jello shots. They're like big old Jello cups. But that'll get them, full. We know that the Pooh Brown Vito is in play in that.
Don't say that. Don't say that out loud. That's a bad word on this podcast.
Love it.
Pooh Brown. I mean, Pooh Brown can go either way. We know Nicole survived it.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, I would have survived it too if alliances were a little different in the sense of like, I don't know who is aware of season 3, but Chantele and Jojo and Alvin were in an alliance, and I was the 4th, but I thought that I was in a 2-person alliance with Jojo.
Well, you still were. I'm hanging out with my final 2s here.
Yeah,
throw Nicole in there, and I got my 3 final 3s. 2s.
Voted me out, and if he kept me, I would have survived the Pooh Brown veto. So, I mean, it's survivable. And Nicole, we all tried to protect her as best we could early on because, she got it and it really threw a wrench in her game, I think, initially, and she got over that. So, because of the relationships that she was able to build with everyone, so good for her. She's the only person who survived it, but it's. I would, what I would say to everyone going in, I only dove because I wanted to prevent other people from gaining certain powers.
Sure.
Looking back, I would not have done that. I would not have.
You like playing the kind of risky though, like I think you.
And it was
try to win. Yeah. Play your risks. But
I mean, your risk, Jonathan, was last minute. Like I remember it being like 10 minutes beforehand. You're like, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, oh God, don't do it, but do it, but don't do it.
No,
I didn't do it. I was too scared.
I didn't do it either. No, I think we're the only 2 that didn't dive. We're like, nah, we're fine. It's okay.
I didn't want Caitlyn.
Go ahead.
I didn't want, because I could see what was happening, and I'm like, if Caitlyn got a power, and I didn't fully trust Chantele and Alvin, and I'm like, I see where this is going, so I better try it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, it could be great for me, and it just didn't work. So sometimes you have to take risks and see what happens.
That was a time. That's around the time where everything went chaos.
Yeah. But so again, this season, I mean, it has all the elements there for this to happen, and people will, I'm sure, go for it, and I'm sure someone will get the Pooh Brown veto because, again, if it's not if it runs dry before it's supposed to, like it did in our season, he will reintroduce stuff later on, like he did in our season. That's what
Yeah.
about it. But so yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting to watch.
What do you think is the best way to play that Pooh Brown veto?
I think getting earlier on and just what Nicole did, or getting it earlier on. She was unfortunately singled out, I think, in week 1, and then she was kind of assumed to be aligned with Julian, and I mean, it kind of forced that along. But she kind of said, like, this really sucks. Oh my God, I hate this. And we all felt bad for her. I mean, at least I did. And that's why I wanted to, like, kind of try to help her out as much as I possibly could. So kind of not play the victim, but just, make people realize that you're not getting, I don't want to say a fair shot, but you're kind of like,
Well, having the numbers on your side too helps, and having more house guests around is the better bet, I'd say.
To kind of push forward the anti-bus alliance, because we're like, hey, we'll all be together, we'll support you, and we'll get someone from the bus alliance out. And so, like, she felt confident with having the numbers on her side that we came together in that moment. And so that actually was a way that we were able to solidify our, like, teamingness.
Exactly.
Was being like, we will stand by you and we will work together. Yeah. So I think that's also a way that you could play it too, is like use it as like a way to
getting it later.
I have to go. I have to pee. I'll be right back. Continue recording.
So getting it later on was like almost certain death. So the only for me, it was just I knew I could play it at a certain time or hold on to it. I think I only had a couple weeks, not as many as her, but I think she had 3 or 4. But it's very dangerous, and it's such a burden to your game, really. And so, but like you said, it can really kind of help form early bonds. And I mean, if you're just sitting there doing nothing, you're going to be one of those players that people aren't going to reach out to. People aren't going to want to help or want to work with. It's when things happen to you. It's when you do things. So you need to participate in some way. If you're not in the vetoes and you don't want to win HOH, you need to get in those alliances somehow. I mean, Chantele, you are the queen of the reigning champ. You are the queen of kind of like not playing too hard too fast, and just letting it kind of make sure that you're sitting comfortably and working it from a social angle, rather than trying to win all those comps or be, being forced on people's radar. So I mean, you could probably speak to that more than I can, but it's an interesting element. So we'll see.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I would not want to have the Pooh Brown veto at all. I think that if I were ever to have used it, even early on, I think that early on, especially, actually, I think that it would have been a lot harder to save me early on, because I hadn't had the opportunity to build any bonds. But I would have obviously done my best to see if I could use it as an opportunity to be like, hey, like, you won't have to put someone and get someone mad if you put them up on the block. I'll put them up on the block. I'll save them so we can garner some favor, and they'll be, we can have them on our side, and we can maybe build that way. I would definitely use it as part of my strategy, but like, I would not, it's too scary. Be like, anything else in the video? So we have the prank or no pranks, which is like the dive into the sea with the anything else?
He was dressed as Dwight, who was a character from The Office. Mm-hmm. And I think any advice for people that are playing, like, pay attention to the details, make a little, I mean, this notebook was my best friend during the game. Yes.
Look, and make every note possible, because you will think that you made enough details. I mean, make graphs, make charts. If you want to win this game, you need to know every
At the end, I was in Mexico like I had like 10, I'm like, go to the front desk and I'm like, can I get 10 pieces of paper? And I went through all the videos that like I didn't bring everything with me to Mexico. You know what I mean? I didn't like yes, I was in the game. I usually play to win, but like I didn't think it through, you know? Like I didn't really think that I was like in December, I started this game in October, that I need to like worry about my vacation in December.
And can we just say the 85 days are a lot?
But it does pick up near the end. It starts getting, it does.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Quickly. Anyway, so I had like 10 pages of like notes on every day, who won what, like what was the 5-2, 4-3, like what were the balances, like who won second, like I knew every stat in the end, but I had to go back and retake notes because like the notes that I had were not useful.
But even taking notes on previous seasons, that was an entirely other game to play.
Yeah, we did. I did go through all the other seasons.
That was
I did.
Rough.
And like I know better. Like I remember in our, like you had said, like you had your little notebook, and I was like, I know I'm like a super fan, even though I'm pretending like I'm not. Like I know that I'm gonna need to know all this information, but like I didn't even take any fucking like even though I know to
take notes. All the notes.
I took notes. I wrote every day.
I knew you did.
and what what happened that day, who said what, who the players were, and they weren't enough notes. Let me tell you, it was crazy. Although they helped me win a veto or two, but it was like Julian took great notes. He made charts of things, and I'm like, I should have done that. I mean, luckily enough, he was working with me, so I was able to get some of that information. And Jojo, I just think you have an incredible memory anyway. But I mean, you take very detailed notes, and so I have a terrible memory, so I had to write everything down. And as daunting as it sounds, I mean, you could probably get through the game with having someone.
You can't win at the end. Like
no,
you will not win.
So
you will get to the jury probably, and you can probably get final four maybe, but you're not gonna win. You're not gonna be final two. People aren't gonna vote for you unless they know how diehard you were about this and how much you committed. So you don't have to be a super fan necessarily going into it, but I think by the end you almost have to become one of
it forces you to, though, because like what the competitions start asking of you, you're like, oh wait, I need to know more that what happened. Like you really, it forces you to, if you want to win. If you don't want to win at all, then you won't put in the work, obviously. It's like kind of like you're saying. But yeah, the end competitions are no joke, and I feel like some of them are going to be staples. Like I feel like Jeopardy is going to come back in, where you like that one was like, I don't
go high fast, go high. Get your high points out.
Obviously get the high numbers out, but you really need to know that was a multi-seasonal questions, and they were all very random. It was like, what was the name of that competition? What's the spelling mistake here? Like, or whatever it is. Like, it tested a lot of things, and Staircase was really hard. You had to have accurate. If your notes weren't accurate, you were screwed, like all of us were.
That was rough.
It's just two things we had that were inaccurate that messed up our whole thing.
Yeah, I think it was I think one of them was Daddy.
Daddy, yeah.
Like 1 in 52. I don't remember, but I remember exactly. It was 1 in 50, 1 in 25.
Did you get to try that out, Jonathan?
What's that?
Did you get to try out Staircase?
I was playing for Win.
He was.
I played for Lynn. I was 1 point behind Jojo.
It was you playing for Lynn. We knew it. We're like, there's no way Lynn knows this. We're like, no way. No way.
Lynn.
Really, it was
love
like
Lynn, though. Love Lynn.
Lynn was great. I was swamped at work, and I as I was many days and had many sleepless nights over this, but I ran home and I went over notes and I was trying to gather information. Julian was offering me a couple answers to some things, and I was going through it, and I thought I'd be so much better at it, but I wasn't able to. I wasn't playing for myself, but I was trying to help out Lynn at the end as much as possible, and I was one behind you.
Like, you know what though? Like, if I just had whatever that information was about Adam, like if I just had wrote his name down or what it was, like I would have gotten perfect. It was just that one thing that wasn't. I just didn't have valid facts, and
my heart is pounding right now thinking about it.
I was, when I was doing this, though, I was leaving Mexico. So I had to have my numbers in and all my tries, and like I couldn't do any more tries because I was getting on a plane. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just do my tries after, and I'll just write down my number combinations that I want to put in and see if he'll let me submit them. Like, I don't know. And so like I'm on the plane coming back home, writing out every possibility of these notes of like what it could have been. And I had the wrong information.
Yeah. Whoops.
So be accurate.
Be accurate.
So I think that's like most of what was kind of talked about in the video. Was there anything else, Jojo? I did have a point that I wanted to bring up, but not about what happened in the videos. Was there anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's everything too that he talked about in today's video.
But
HOH number one. Sorry.
Yeah, HOH is being
played now until 8 p.m. tonight.
Yes.
BB Clue. BB Clue. So like the classic board game Clue / movie.
You just essentially make your accusation in public, and then he'll message you he'll announce if it's correct or not, but he'll message you privately which elements were correct and which weren't, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if you get it wrong, I think is there like a time penalty, like an hour penalty?
1 hour, I think, before you can release your next. Yeah.
So you can't just, do it every 5 minutes.
Fire it off like we would.
But
I like this better than our first competition. Our first one was like the eggs, like the colored eggs, and just seeing him do
ice cream or something.
Like the Lindor chocolates and the colors of them, and
white, orange, mint.
It was already won. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, I was driving to work as it was being played, and I parked my car, and I was like, da-da-da. I tried to get in as soon as possible, but oh well.
Yeah, no, I like this one better. At least they have a long time. Like, I don't know exactly how he's going to be playing it. If it's going to be like legit, like he's playing the board game Clue with all of them, which he might because he likes playing games for people.
Monopoly.
Do you think there's going to be a Monopoly type game this season?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, I liked it actually.
But speaking of last season, Chad and Charlene went really strong. So I would definitely recommend to people. And it was very obvious that they were in an alliance, a fake hate each other thing, which is really why we targeted them. I was HOH week 2, and I was like, let's get rid of that because it's such an easy answer. No blood on your hands. But so don't make a big kind of show of things right off the bat. That's you don't want to put yourself out there giving someone.
I like a bit of a show, so I don't want to tell people not to like make big moves right away. I say like go guns a-blazing.
Sometimes though, I think that for me personally, because I found their energy is so toxic, and Charlene was coming after me, like that's one of the reasons why I was like allowing her to like let's get her out and forcing her out. But at times in playing these games, I kind of want to keep the loud kind of annoying person I can always get out. Take them along a little bit further. So
I think that's why Chad went first though.
Yeah.
Because Chad was Charlene was pretty.
Charlene was transparent
out there. Yeah.
And you kind of knew what was coming at you, and you knew who she was working with, and we were able to not control but manipulate a little bit people that she was working with, and we really saw that as a whole, so it was very easy. Whereas Chad, to me anyway, was just unpredictable, and that was more of a wild card I didn't want. So that's my phone. Let me take care of that.
All right. My favorite part of the movie Clue is, tell me if you remember it, I am a singing telegram. Scott?
No.
Have you never seen it?
I think I saw it like a couple of years ago, but
like always rings in my head whenever I think of the movie Clue. Okay, so let's start our draft. So
can I just mention one thing quickly?
Of course.
Bus drivers. We went after bus drivers last season, and my concern for people this year is they didn't play previous seasons if they're bus drivers for a reason. Probably they were too busy. So I don't know how much of a fan or how committed they can be if, things pick up again. in their lives. So
and they're also driving. It's like they're still working.
I know. So
So
I would say to them, don't let last season happen to you. I mean, you know, just be aware that we went after bus drivers, and minus Lynn, week after week after week after week after week, it was a bus driver.
yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah, be careful.
It's easy.
Sorry.
Anyways, okay. So, who should go first? I'll go last. Or actually, you guys can choose the order. I don't care where I go.
Oh, Jojo, you can pick.
So it's going to be a snake draw. So the first person will do 1, the second person will do 1, the third person will do 2, and then 1, and then 2, and then 1, then 2.
Oh God. Okay. Jonathan, you go first.
If that's what he wants.
Okay. I am going to pick.
Oh, to mention, there's 10 girls or women and 6 men, which I thought was interesting because they were pretty. It was nice. Was it balanced? I think it was even split, and I think that it's. I mean, okay. Anyways, just pointing out the obvious.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Sorry, I pick Nick.
You're picking Nick as your numero uno.
Cutie.
Talk about them or no?
Yeah, let's talk about them right now.
So I think Nick can be, I mean, just looking at his profile a little bit.
Gorgeous.
I think he could be very dangerous. I think he could be a player, dangerous in a good way for himself. So I think that, I mean, going off of, I only really know our season, so going off of the amount of people who didn't participate and didn't really form things right away, I tried to gravitate towards people who were playing the game. And I just feel like he is someone who has that ability and probably is that person. One of several here who I think are really in it to win it. And I would pick him for my team.
Nick also has stated, like, on his Facebook profile that he's a big bro fanatic. So I think that's a clear definition that we have someone that's here to play the game. But at the same time, like, good. I want to see you all play the game. So
absolutely. And like in his profile is like tons of like circuit party pics and like him having a good time. So it looks like he's social. It looks like, you know, he says even in his little mini bio, be my friend. Like he's like silly and he says he's an avid gamer, Big Brother fanatic, goofy party boy. And like, that's somebody that I want to be playing games with and having chats with. You know what I mean? So I think that's a great first pick. Anything else you want to say about Nick?
No, I mean, like, that's, you got it. I think he's looks very friendly, potentially very charming, and that can take you a long way in this game. So
people like to play with people that they like, and I think he appears from his bio to be likable.
Yeah,
he's the first one. All right,
Jojo, you gonna go or do you want me to go?
You go. You can go.
I'm gonna take Ashley. Okay. So Ashley, she appears to be young. She looks like she's fun. You know, there's lots of red solo cups in those pictures, so it feels as though she likes hanging out with people. She probably gets along with people. I think some of you guys have mentioned before that you've seen that she's commented on certain videos and stuff like that in last season anyways.
Yeah.
And so she's a fan of some sort. So she has I like people like you, Jonathan, that want to play, want to be here. And it seems like if she has some sort of invested interest in this game, like I want to see her do well. And like, I want her on my team because I know she's going to be playing to win. So I think it'd be fun. And looks like she likes to play games. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, so
good choice. Yeah,
she did comment on some videos and stuff last year, which if I were her, I would be careful in how. I mean, she didn't say some nice things about me, so I would be cautious of what you say to people. And you don't want something kind of getting out there and then that coming back to bite you in the ass. So
maybe we're gonna have some agency in this game, and that might come back. I'm just kidding. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's another twist that comes down the road.
You know what? I think my first pick is going to change after you saying that, Jonathan, only because someone playing this year had a couple choice words last year about Alvin, and I'm going to choose Brazil.
Okay.
Great name. Initially, like, wasn't sure if I'd put Brazil as my number one choice, but I think she's going to be ballsy. She looks to be pretty social. She's mutual friends with a lot of these people. Yeah, I'm going to go like strong girl power, and I think she'll be my first choice. Yeah.
I mean,
you get well, I agree with the Brazil pick. I do kind of remember having some fire when she commented. Like, I see her name's very recognizable. So hearing that name again, I've never really met anybody with that particular name. I was like, is it the same person? And it was. So I feel that she has been invested in season 2. So she has an idea of what she's getting herself into. And if she's willing to put herself through it, I'm into that. It's like,
go for it.
She had some choice words, as you mentioned, and she's still willing to put herself in that environment. So I think she's good.
She's another player, I feel like, although, I mean, her profile, if you just look at it, she seems very kind of fun and potentially friendly, sweet, but I think she's deadly to those who would cross her, and probably a great person to be aligned with at the same time. So, I mean, yeah, she's in it to play as well, so we'll see.
And it looks like she's a girl's girl. Like, and all the pictures that were available, she was only posing with like female friends or family members, who knows. But it was only women that I noticed. So like, probably a girl's girl, and like really gets along with women, supports women. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw her gravitating towards getting a group of women together.
Yeah, some girl power.
Scissoring! No, just kidding. Just kidding. Took it too far. Anything else to say about Brazil?
No.
Can you get another pick, Jojo?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm going to choose Kat. I have some confidence in Kat. I even noticed that Brenda, who's one of the new house guests, she even got excited seeing that Kat was in the cast. Not that Kat's played before, but she does do commentary for Dick at Night. Hope that's not ruining your strategy there, Kat. But whoops, Ryan does too, so throw that out there. Actually, I don't know if fuck. I chose Kat, whatever.
With Kat, I think it's a great pick. She follows some of the same reality television groups that I follow. A mutual friend is a woman that does like a Big Brother live feed update group, and so she is invested in Big Brother in general, so she's going to have a pretty good, I would assume, knowledge of the show.
Sure.
And yeah, I think that she will at least know how to play. And if she's going to put herself in this situation, like, I feel as if you're a Big Brother fan, you're going to want to play to win. So I think that she's going to want to win.
Yeah. Cool.
And if I was watching her, she would be someone that I would be rooting for, just personally myself. So
I like her glasses.
I think that, yeah, our signature kind of glasses look. So I think that's Lynn, like you said, I think she's definitely has invested in this, on many levels, and I think she'll play.
I don't want to be shady, but I wish she chose a different photo.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I wrote down here as well, as like, oh, her profile photos, I thought that they were a little bit more inviting. I was like, who's that? And then I looked at the picture that she submitted, and I was like, oh, it is the same person, because I recognized the glasses, but the photo was just not as good of a photo. And so I was wondering if Andrew just chose a photo for her, or if she submitted that.
And good photos are, important, just from the intro. It's something that you connect with or don't connect with. So if you have, like, Chad last year had like a a merged image
Yeah.
and I mean, and if that doesn't put you off right away because you can't even connect on what they look like, you can't imagine what they're like in your head, then you totally disconnect and subconsciously you don't even want to play with them. So having a good photo, I picked a photo with my dog, and it was on purpose. You have to start playing the game. I mean, like you guys know, before you play the game. Yeah.
100%. I was like, should I use this photo? Okay, no, this one. Want to be smiling. Want to look approachable. Want to look like da-da-da. Like, want to look kind. I even remember going through Alvin's photos with him, and we went through like 15 different photos of what he should put. And I was like, no, you're smizing too much. No, you look like a bitch. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, we totally went through his photos to make sure that
Andrew chose my photo though.
Really?
I didn't submit it though, but like Andrew chose mine.
But I do remember in the beginning, people were like, I don't know, his photo, he looks a little bit sneaky.
It's like, Jojo, you watch The Circle.
Yeah.
And it's like they all, choose their profile, but it's such a big to do right at the beginning because.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's important for sure.
Absolutely.
It's like we looked at Brandon, whoo. So.
Well, I get the next pick because we're going
there
back
you go.
to the snake. So that was my next pick. I was going to take Catfish Picker, and then I'm going to take Brandon, the thirst trap.
Yes.
Brandon is a nice-looking man. I do not think that anybody's going to want to get rid of him right off the bat. I mentioned to Mr. Andrew that Jojo and I thought that we're like, ooh, who is he? Is he single? And Andrew told us to back the F off. So, okay. Hopefully he's going to be around for a long time. Hopefully he's excited about playing this game. I think that because he's so handsome, hopefully he has a personality to match, that he's engaging and he's really able to get along with people, which I feel like he must be. He looks like he's athletic and works out, and so thirst trap.
I thought that Brandon might be a catfish. I fully thought like a previous player is playing as Brandon. It's happening. And then I realized that Brandon and I actually have mutual Facebook friends that aren't Big Brother related. So I'm like, okay, he's not a catfish. I checked his photos. So like it goes far enough back. But I thought that would have been so good if we got a catfish situation this year. Like Jonathan secretly Meigan. I know. I fully expected you kind of to. I'm like,
maybe
Jonathan playing as someone else. Oh, I hope you are.
I wouldn't tell you. I could see his profile, so it seemed very limited to me. So I wasn't sure how involved or active he would be in the game. So he was a big question mark for me. I just didn't know much about him, or because you'll find out in the first couple weeks the people who don't really kind of show up, and then there's a difference between not showing up and playing under the radar. But so I was curious to see how his game progresses in the next few weeks.
Yeah, all of our thoughts are probably going to change completely when we see these houses.
Oh yeah.
They were just like, but no, I think that he, from his profile pic and his thirst level, he's going to do well. You get 2 now, Jonathan.
Great. So I am going. Oh, that's perfect because I'm kind of I had 2 in mind that I wanted, and I thought one of you would steal it. So is it Meigan? We think that's how you pronounce it, Meigan?
I think so.
Meigan, yeah.
We'll find out, but
Meigan?
We'll say Meigan.
So I think she looks really likable. I think she could be. I should stop saying my team are like dangerous players, but I think she could be someone who teamed up with other similar people, could really go far in this game, and I definitely wanted her on my team. So we'll see. And then my second pick would be Ryan.
We honestly, we are really in sync because all my top people are just
100%. Actually, no. We're close. Yeah.
And what can we say about him? So many things.
Well, I mean, Ryan, he has a picture in his profile of him.
We can say that he's alumni, right? That's well known.
We're saying it as well known.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
Sorry.
he has a picture of himself on the TV show, so he has played Big Brother season 6
Canada.
before. Andrew did say that he has a Big Brother alumni that was playing. It's very clear that it has to be him because there's nobody else that even resembles anybody that could have possibly have played. So yeah, like I think he's a great pick. He'll probably learn a bit like when he played his season, learned like that he at least enjoys the game. And so I think that he'd be someone that would be good to align with. I think that he will, do well in competitions or like want to at least play them and participate. And I think that he'd be a great person to have on your team. He was my next male pick.
Yeah, and
and Meigan was my next female pick. I thought her pictures on her profile, there weren't that many other than just like some selfies, but like I thought that there were good picks. It looks like she's a graphic designer, which I think she's not in she's in a kind of a career she deals with people, and I think she'll probably get along with people. She's not like in the corporate world, so she might be a little bit more regimented. So I think that she'll be open. I think she's maybe a little bit unconventional, probably friendly and likable. Yeah. Anything else, Jojo? No?
Jonathan.
Okay, who do I want next? What does that person look like again? Sorry, I need to see what this person looks like.
Who?
Cie-Jai.
Cie-Jai has some personality for sure.
I wrote feisty.
Yeah, and I think she's watched. Like I recognized her from like commenting on our season.
She might be a bus driver actually, because
counted at least maybe 6 transit members. Maybe I have 6.
I have 8.
If you have 8,
I think so.
I don't know if he did 8 and 8 this year.
I think so. If he's a bus driver, then there's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sorry, 7.
I have 6.
Wait, well, I'm sorry, guys. You're like you have it on your profile. So I have Brenda, Cie-Jai, Jack,
yes,
Lisa,
Lynn, yes,
Marcin, and Susan. It's 7.
Susie? Is Susie one?
Yeah.
It says bus
Probably.
driver.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, there's 7. So is there an 8th or no?
So it's 7 so far. Sorry, I meant to say 7 when I said 8. Okay, so I think though, before I get into the bus people, I'm gonna take Cutie Pie Curtis.
Cute.
Curtis he looks young, he looks likable, he looks straight, he looks, he has a girlfriend seemingly. He probably will play games really well. I don't know if he has a lot of knowledge about the show, but I feel that he might be someone that grows into, becoming more so of a fan. I think he'll be around for a while. I just don't see people coming to target him. Like, I just think that he will go at least to the merge, or not merge, at least to the jury.
Whatever.
I don't know. I think he'll go a little.
Yeah, he seemed very laid back in his photos. So the only apprehension I had was how involved he'll be, how much he'll play. But I mean, if that element's there, I think he's a great choice as well.
I think he's a huge fan. I think there was some comment that he made about the challenge shows up on his Twitter. So I feel like he does follow Big Brother. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think he could be a player, personally.
Jojo has stalked every last one.
Every single person. Yeah. So I'm so sorry. It's true. I actually have, though. It's bad.
You have 2, Jojo. Wait, what's Lindsay a bus driver? That's the 8th person.
Lindsay is not a bus driver, but she is mutual friends with Krista, which makes me think that she's probably dated Julian at some point.
I had the idea that she was friends with Krista. I didn't look that deep into it, but I literally have written here Krista vibes. I mean, she's giving me Krista vibes. So
I love Krista.
Love Krista. I don't know how much you guys know this. I was secretly working with Krista, obviously, but we had targeted Krista early on, and I befriended her to get all the inside information, which is exactly what I did for our alliance. And then I just felt like people were ganging up, and I feel like there was a little bit of a bully situation happening in our season, and I didn't want any part of that.
Yeah.
So then that's why if you hear about a rogue vote, that's why I did what I did. I was
Why
like,
didn't you just tell us we were on your? We would have been supported it.
no, that's the one thing you cannot do in any season is tell someone, because as soon as someone knows, everybody.
No, I mean after though, when we were just like, just tell us, because we knew it was you.
My goal was to deny it to the end, even when on jury, because you didn't know how that was going to come about. And if information hadn't slipped up, there could still be a couple people that it could have been. And to be honest, I still had a person or two fooled at the end who really didn't think it was me. But I was still playing the game right up until the winner was announced.
And I know you were, and like, I mean, obviously, I support your decision. You're playing the game in the moment, but like, we were just like, a lot of the times we were just like, we want him to tell us. We will stand by him doing this. We honestly, Jojo and I cried. Like, we're just like, just tell us. We wanted to protect you, but because you did that, it was hard.
I didn't trust a single person.
I know.
And minus Jojo.
Thank you.
Had me completely fooled.
I mean.
And so, but I didn't tell him. And I have that rule of, I watch all the reality shows too. So it's the moment you tell someone is usually their downfall. And
I forgave you for it. It was such a you move.
Yeah, well, I mean, people might don't care about it.
I just want to say I wasn't going to stand it. I wasn't going to sit there and let someone be spoken to a certain way or bullied, and that it's completely against my nature.
And 100%, I totally agree with you with that. And like, I even
came up for that because
on the side. Like I said, I apologize on Alvin's behalf to Krista. I also mentioned that I didn't stand behind how he was treating her and speaking to her. Like I was 100% on her side. I did get in multiple fights with Alvin, cried many times about the fact that how he was treating her, and that wasn't something. That's why I was being truthful.
Not to like single out Alvin or anything. It's just, I mean, I feel like it was something that she felt, and I don't want to speak on her behalf, but I feel like it's something that she felt by as a whole, and it just, I was not okay with it. And so I completely agree with you. I'm gonna do what I can to try to save her, and if she could win something, it could have
turned around.
Helped it, but she was way too laid back, and so with our Lindsay, our Krista vibes girl here, it's that was my concern was, and that's funny to know that she is friends with Krista. I mean, obviously they're different people, so who knows how she'll play, but I was concerned that if she's not invested in it, then you're gonna have a repeat of that. So
I also, just to jump in, for the whole Krista thing, Krista's got a thick skin. That girl's a teacher. She's fine. But yes, it was all too much. Tiffany, that heinous bitch, Tiffany, she actually picked Lindsay for her winner and Nick Jonas as runner-up. So I do think that, are Tiffany and Andrew friends from like childhood or from college?
They went on vacation. But who's Nick Jonas?
Tiffany doesn't.
I think Nick, like cute Nick.
Okay. What's your point behind that?
I don't know. We were just talking about Lindsay, so I got excited and wanted to mention Tiffany.
So where did you find that out about Tiffany?
She commented on the video, or not the video, the cast list, saying like, I'm choosing Lindsay to be the winner and Nick Jonas to be the runner-up. So I thought like, I don't like Lindsay now.
Jonas?
But she was calling him Nick Jonas. I think she meant Nick, the little cutie.
Okay.
Yeah, sidetracked. So sorry.
Brother. I'm like, what's happening here? I'm like,
sorry.
Okay, so Jojo, you get to
pick Lindsay, or we were just talking about it for no reason?
We're just talking about her, not picking her. No.
Wait, so your two picks, Jonathan, were? I forgot.
Mine are so far Nick, Meigan, and Ryan. And then yours,
I got mine down. Sorry.
Your third one was Curtis, and then it's Jojo's turn, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna choose Lisa, Lisa's the first transit person to be chosen. I think she's going to be really personable. She's already pretty vocal in the cheesecake community. I know people are rooting for her. But she also said that she's like new to the game, which I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but quite a few of them are saying that they're new to it. So she's my choice for transit, my first choice for transit.
She kind of gives me Charlene vibes. Like,
I don't know. No, I don't know if she's as abrasive as Charlene was.
But in her images, I've never had a conversation or heard her voice or how she speaks, but like she just seems kind of a little bit not inviting per se. Like she doesn't have like that like a warmth. She doesn't have a warmth that she gives off personally from her photos. She could be a lovely person. I'm not trying to say that you aren't nice, but it just doesn't, the vibe that she gives off to me in her in images seems
in her comments. I feel the opposite. I feel like she's pretty like, I think she's going to be a pretty social player personally.
I wrote down here that she was very Facebook involved, so I mean that's really important to me, because the worst kind of a player is someone who just doesn't really care or show up or anything. So I mean, she will definitely participate, I think, and really be into it. And especially as a bus driver, as I said before, I'm concerned that what their schedules are like and whatnot. So I definitely think that out of the bus drivers, she's one of the stronger ones for me that I would have picked. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Andrew's gonna hate that we're talking about these bus drivers like this.
Sorry. Too bad.
Don't pick your bus driver friends to play and have 8 of them or 7.
Sorry. God, is this my final choice?
Oh wait, so that's why I was trying to pick. No, never mind. I was just asking who Cie-Jai was. Okay.
I'm gonna choose Cie-Jai. Yeah. I was gonna choose Lindsay, but I think I'm gonna choose Cie-Jai.
We get 5 each.
Yeah. So
we do? Okay. Oh, whatever. Cie-Jai had a lot of personality in her photos. I don't know if she's that big of a fan, but I know that she follows the cheesecake world. So
yeah,
it's my guesstimation.
Seems like
Cie-Jai, play this game.
She seems feisty, probably would put up with a lot of bull, so we'll see. It's I think she makes a great cast member and see how it all comes across. I think if you cross her, she'll let you have it. So
yeah.
Who's Cie-Jai again? What does she look like? Oh, I just pulled her up. What does she look like? Yeah, I mean, I was saying that she looks like she has like a good time, like, the lovable aunt kind of vibe, like she's the fun aunt.
Yeah.
So there's pictures of Appletons and Red Stripes, so she's been to Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
I think she looks like she's good vibes, good times. She has good energy to me. That's all I have to say. I think it's a decent second bus driver pick.
Okay, and then Chantele.
Me. Ugh. Which is the bus driver that likes Elvis?
Is that Lynn?
That's Lynn.
Or
it's Lynn.
I don't remember. Lynn also likes cats. I actually love Lynn. Love Lynn's look. Her Facebook's cute.
I'm gonna take a boy. Am I gonna just have a boy team? No, I'll take Lynn.
You're gonna have a boy team.
No. I'm half and half now. Lynn.
Okay.
Lynn, I liked, obviously we just kind of mentioned that she likes Elvis. She just seems a little bit quirky. She's ready to have a good time, doesn't take things too seriously. And that easygoing kind of vibe is something that I like. I think that she'll be easy to get along with. I think people will want to make an alliance or like just talk to her. Like I think that she'll get along with people. So that's why I picked her. And she likes cats. I like people like animals.
Yeah.
I wrote down that I think she's like season 3 Lynn. So who also likes cats. But which I mean, she came in 4th. So I would question if she knows what she's fully getting into or needs to commit to. But I definitely think that she can be kind of underplay things and make it pretty far. So yeah.
And kind of play maybe. Well, I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm in over my head.
Exactly. That's. I mean, if I was in that position, I would too. Okay, Jonathan, your last two.
I do not know. I will go with. Oof. Not that these are bad choices. I came into this unprepared.
But also, like, they're kind of all adjacent. Like, we can't really tell what they're going to be playing. Like, they don't have a lot of information in their photos and stuff like that to be able to be like, oh yeah, you know. So we're just throwing a stick.
It's all just bullshit.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
It's a waste of your time to watch this.
Yeah. If you got to hear, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be impressed.
Easter eggs in this video.
Ooh, count them.
I tell you who the mole is.
There's an Easter egg. I don't know.
I would go with. No one's picked Marcin, right?
Right.
That's my last was my last pick, but yeah.
So he is a bus driver. Oh, I have written down. And I guess that's a good thing because I have no negatives. So we'll see kind of how involved he can be. And
I put married bus driver Capricorn. So Capricorns, they tend to be loyal. They tend to be workhorses. So I feel like if he were in an alliance or if he made a commitment to somebody, he would stand by it and he would be loyal to the soil. And so that's always someone to be good to have on your side, someone that you know that you can trust, someone that you know that will never turn their back on you and most likely will be honest. So if he lives up to his Capricorn traits, I would think he would be a great pick.
Awesome.
Good choice, yeah.
And then do I go again? Yes, right?
Yeah, it's your last pick.
Okay, so remaining people are Susie, Lindsay, no one's picked,
and Jack.
Jack and
Brenda.
Brenda and Lisa. There's 5, but there's gonna be one left over.
No, I chose Lisa.
Lisa's this third pick, yeah. So
sorry, 4 left.
So Brenda, I would go with Brenda. I said not far for whatever reason. Jack, I put down that he reminds me of Imad. Don't know if you know what the name is.
A ghost.
So I'm gonna go with you know what, Krista part 2. Let's go with Lindsay.
Good choice. And
have her prove me wrong.
Yeah, she was gonna be my next pick if it made it back to me. I wrote that she's like outdoorsy type. I put very closed though, so maybe that's maybe like the Krista vibes that you guys were getting. I was just like closed off. Her profile
needs to do a little
off, like get a little slutty. No, I'm just kidding.
Too much clothes.
Done some traveling, so she probably is familiar with being in uncomfortable situations and can hold her own and handle herself.
She's friends with Krista, so uncomfortable situations.
Exactly.
Kidding.
And well, I think that if she is friends with Krista will kind of give her a little bit of a heads up on how to maybe maneuver. And Krista had mentioned to me a few times about things that she wished she did differently, and that people thought she was playing harder than she actually was, and she wished she was actually playing that hard, because then she would be able to at least live up to like her people being scared of her or thinking that she's a threat. She wished that she was actually that threat. And so Krista will probably give her some advice as to how to maneuver the game and just maybe the things that she wished she had done a little bit differently.
Well, Krista started playing this kind of the same time Adam did. The only problem with that is that he set that up. You know what I mean? That alliance, we knew, like, let's form this alliance, let's get them in there, and
Mariana's trench.
So we could manipulate it. So, I mean, they started playing a couple weeks in, like really playing, and they thought that they had a solid alliance, when in fact we were moles. There was Julian, there was myself, and we were there to...
And Nicole.
and we're there to kind of control that alliance, and we formed it. So they kind of came to the game a little too late with that, but both her and Adam. But I mean, she did play, and then it was just kind of, I think a couple weeks after she realized in what position she was in, and it was a losing battle. So, but yeah, I hope Lindsay learns from that and gets kind of involved right away.
Okay, last pick. So I have to choose from Jack, Susan, and Brenda, right?
Susie.
Yes, Susie in his Facebook profile, he listed her as Susie. So yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, it's bus driver.
It's okay, forgive you.
Mother, seemingly. That's what I wrote for Susan. I wrote for Brenda. Not much available on profile, maybe closed off. Would probably have to wait for her to, like, she won't approach people. Yeah, I'm not gonna take Brenda. Susan or Jack?
Susie, we tried.
Susie, sorry, or Jack. Only it's him on the bus with the sunglasses.
Also, if my phone dies, bye.
Okay, well, we're almost.
But I'm doing okay for now, I think.
I'm gonna take Susan. Susie, I'm sorry. Well, I wrote down Susan because that's her name, okay? Don't have your name be Susan on Facebook if you want to go by Susie. Okay. Susie.
Yes.
I'm picking her. She does, like, the last three people, the reason why I didn't gravitate towards any of them is this: they didn't seem really inviting and really social, and that they knew the game they're getting into. I picked Susie because she is a mom. It looks like she is supporting, like, her son in sports ventures. So she's probably, hangs out with other moms and stuff like that. So maybe she has watched the show before and watched similar shows like it. So there might be a chance that she understands, like, the social element and the strategic element of it. So if she's in kind of a gaming world a little bit, even if it's through her children, maybe she will have some chops in the game, especially over the other two who I don't think have any chops in the game. So I would hope that she does a really great job. I just, from her profile, it just didn't show me that she knows very much about the game, but hopefully she does better than I can tell. Anything about Susie?
I mean,
I thought Susie wasn't going to be chosen at the beginning. I was like, I bet Susie's going to be the last one. But yeah, I mean, like, she's a mom. She knows how to use Facebook.
I would have picked her over Jack and Brenda. Just, I don't know why I wrote Brenda as not going far. It's just the vibe I get. And then with Emad last year, bless him, but he didn't know what was happening. And so I wrote that for Jack, that he just has those vibes. He's not 20, and he's a bus driver. So I was wondering if this is someone who Andrew is just finally convinced to take part of this, and he's like, oh, why not? But really doesn't know what he's getting into. So I like people who are players and who will commit to it and really go for it. I mean, prove me wrong, Jack, I don't know, but I would have picked Susie next too. So.
And also with Jack, because you're about to choose between the last two people, so we might as well just talk about them all. With Jack, in his actual Facebook pic, it's very close. It's like just, I think, one or two pics, and with him wearing sunglasses. And I always find when people are wearing sunglasses in all their social media things, that means that I feel like they're hiding something. You can't see their eyes, like they're closed off. I was happy to see that in his the image that he submitted to Andrew, he did have his eyes showing, so at least it didn't make him look as, like, why aren't you showing me your eyes? What's hiding behind there? But yeah, the fact that his profile on Facebook just didn't invite me in to know anything about him, that was, for me, it was a red flag for choosing.
So it's up to you.
I think it's pretty easy. I'm going to choose Brenda. She was someone that I actually thought I might even choose a little sooner. She was a fan of Ryan, a fan of Kat. She says she's brand new to the game. I think she's followed it a little bit more than maybe some of the other transit peeps. and I'm confident with having her on my team.
Great.
I think she's gonna surprise us.
And so Jack is for the audience.
Yeah.
Jack
Jack is Andrew's pick. Give it to Dwight.
No, Andrew's pick is Joanne, always. Always Joanne.
Yeah.
So
is he doing voices this year?
he is, and he let me. Oh, I shouldn't say anything, but
okay, don't worry about it.
He is doing voices this year. Yeah, a couple of new ones, a couple of
Nicole's voice.
Sorry.
Who has Nicole's voice?
AKA Joanne's voice.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to say though. I can't say.
He doesn't want to expose it right now.
Yeah, but he's doing voices. Yeah.
First, so Jonathan, you have Nick, Meigan, Ryan, Marcin, and Lindsay. I think that's a pretty strong team.
Yeah.
I have Ashley, Brandon, Curtis, Lynn, and Susie. And Jojo, you have Brazil, Kat, Lisa, Cie-Jai, and Brenda. Did I get that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. Stakes are on.
I think they all have like a theme. We kind of all picked kind of like what we want to see. I think Jojo has some like feisty, some more vibrant players perhaps. I have like real hard, gamers, you know what I mean? So it's and then Chantele has, I think, people who play or probably are going to play similar to or will attempt to similar to how she was playing it, who's that kind of like behind the scenes kind of social game element to it. So we'll see.
I'm so pumped to see how this all goes down. Is there anything else we want to mention about this season? About what's to come?
I mean, do you have any advice for any of them? You're the reigning champ here, so
yeah.
Wow. My advice in these social games, and some people, depending on what they value in competitive reality games, is I value friendships, and I do value making connections, and I do feel that all the connections that I made were true and real. I have been in contact with the people that I have made, these alliances with from the very beginning. They still have remained to be in my friend circle. So I feel as though making true bonds and true
maybe not all of them, but
that's different. And so yeah, these are people that like I hadn't known before. I've been able to make new bonds with, and so I would say my advice is be truthful and honest with the connections that you're making, and I think that will always have taken me the furthest in any of these kind of games that I've played, is like being real and loyal to those people that I made those commitments and bonds to. That's my advice. You guys can give advice too. What do you got?
Jojo, you final three, I would say that you were a favorite from early on to win. And very well may have if you made the final two, but what's your advice?
I want to see some moves. I know, like, obviously it's great to do stuff behind the scenes, but I love when it's shown. I love when a resume is clearly laid out. There's no other way to go. I want big moves. I want strategic moves. I want people just to like give it their all. I really cared, and I loved playing with people that really cared about it. I think because we're all isolated, this could become like all consuming. And I think it did for a lot of us. Like during those endurance challenges, you really do connect with people. And even like talking about real life stuff, I think it's a cool opportunity to meet people and make connections. Yes, I agree that relationships are really important, but at the end of the day, I want to see like some smart stuff done. So my advice is to like obviously have fun, balls to the wall, don't be afraid. I don't want to see any like pussyfooting around. Like, give me some moves. So my advice is to play the game.
And Jonathan,
but play it well. Like, do it well.
Yeah, I would say don't do what I did. So I mean,
you did play a great game, Jonathan.
I tried to play really. I just have a hard time losing anything, so I didn't want to not win HOHs or not win vetoes, and I won them early on to try to kind of. I think that whoever wins things early on, they need to, and they really dictate how the game goes. So have that person on your side, but don't let that person be you. And don't play too hard, too fast. Oh, we lost Jojo, but we haven't.
I think his phone must have died, but that's
But
okay.
yeah, so I mean, and then don't worry. As a viewer, we like seeing big moves and whatnot, but don't worry too much about your resume, because you are going to be forced to make moves nearing the end that will be the freshest and probably some of the biggest moves anyway. You'll be forced to. So I wouldn't worry.
People on the jury as well at that time as well. So it's like impressing them later on. It's going to be more valuable.
Exactly. So don't worry about that. The first half of the game. Just worry about surviving. You should be worrying already about who is on your side and alliances and whatnot. Alliances kept us. I have an issue, Andrew, actually. Andrew claims that he came up with the Russian doll alliance. That is not true. I told him that very early on, and he remembered it as his own thought, but that was kind of what I wanted to do, was have a bigger alliance within like a smaller alliance.
That.
Yeah, he mentioned it in one of his videos, but that was my whole goal going into it, was have larger groups and then make them smaller and smaller. I think several people had that goal, but it really worked out for us. And
yeah, so, no, I mean, yeah, it was super. Now I can actually look at it as like a legitimate strategy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like people who didn't realize that they were 5th and 6th because they were in other people's 3rd and 4th, but we were true to. I was genuinely true to.
Me too. And until the rogue voted, like that's the only time where the adjacent.
Our 4, it was just things got a little dicey. But yeah. So I mean, just don't play too hard too early, and find your people in the game and stick with them, and it'll pay off. Yeah.
I agree with all you guys' strategy. That doesn't work. They don't work for me, but I totally I'm like, yep, I want to watch that person. Yep, I want to watch that person.
Not one strategy is the right way, because it really depends on
who you're playing with
you, right?
Absolutely. And who your jury is going to be, because sometimes the jury is going to value different things than what is your strength in the game. So yeah, it really all depends on who you're playing with, but I'm excited to see this season. It gives us something to think about and talk about for the next 85 days. And I'm excited to see who's going to take away my crown. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Please subscribe down below. Hit the bell if you want to get some updates. We're going to do this once a week. Give us an update on who's still in the house, what's going on. And yeah, please like this video and share it with your friends. We'll see you next week. Ciao, guys. And Jojo says bye as well. Bye.